Hello and welcome to an update of the Crytek Vs Star Citizen case as of the 19th of January. A very quick rundown of the previous complaints. Crytek are suing CIG and RSI for a breach of contract and IP infringement. They say there was only a single license for Star Citizen and that Squadron 42 was not allowed to be developed with the CryEngine as a separate game, that Star Citizen had to be made with the CryEngine, with logos being advertised as well on splash screens, and that the switch to the Lumberyard Engine is a breach of contract, as well as Ortwin, CIG's counsel, had an unresolved conflict of interest as he had worked for Crytek previously, and CIG had potentially shown CryEngine code to unauthorized third parties, as well as CIG supposed to be giving relevant bug fixes and updates that they made to the CryEngine to Crytek, and then had failed to do so. CIG responded revealing the game license agreement, saying that all the claims are false, and that Crytek were playing word games and trying to make the contract as ambiguous as possible. This seemed to be supported by the GLA at that time for the most part. With this, CIG put a motion in to dismiss each part of these complaints from Crytek. Crytek have now responded on the 19th of January, reiterating that all of these complaints should not be dismissed, and I'll quote from the response. Defendants say that this action should never have been filed. Indeed, if only they had kept their promises, the action would have never have been filed. But now Crytek seeks to enforce its contractual rights and copyrights. Defendants deny any enforceable obligation to Crytek and move the court to dismiss Crytek's claims entirely. Defendants' argument simply does not withstand scrutiny, and certainly cannot meet the demanding standard required to obtain dismissal of Crytek's claims as a matter of law. The court should deny defendants' motions and permit Crytek to proceed so it may vindicate its rights. Now, partly this might be correct because the court might have to examine Star Citizen to see if it's now using any unauthorized CryEngine code and that sort of stuff. They did, however, somewhat backpedal Crytek with the accusation of Ortwin having a conflict of interest, although in quite a backhanded way. He apparently did have an signed waiver, presumably signed by both Crytek and CIG, allowing him to represent CIG unburdened, but it was kind of backhandedly dealt with there, saying, well, we're not going to burden the courts with this at this time. So what does this all mean then? It's very likely that some of the claims may go to court now, and the ambiguity in the contract will need to be resolved by a judge or jury. Also, internal emails and memos from the time both Crytek and CIG will need to be looked at to see how they were interpreted, so see how they looked at the contract at the time, and to see if anyone was trying to take advantage of the other party. It's an interesting case. We're going to have to kind of wait and see to know if CIG were supposed to send bug fixes and didn't. With some of the complaints, for example, it does state in the GLA that Star Citizen actually referred to as Space Citizen in the contract. That sounds a bit ambiguous, doesn't it? A bit odd that they've got a mistake there. And its related space fighter game, Squadron 42, will be known as the game. It literally defines the game as two games. And the term exclusive in the contract looks actually to be protecting CIG and Star Citizen rather than forcing them to use the CryEngine, which would also be odd, seeing that they bought the CryEngine license. Crytek have got paid for that. They could have fallen flat on their faces. They might not have produced a game. Would they sue them if that was the case? It's an odd thing. It's things like this that the court are there to look at in a reasonable manner. So don't pitchfork, don't get angry at one side or the other. Wait and see what happens. Worst case scenario for Crytek or for Star Citizen shouldn't be catastrophic in any way. As Leonard French said, someone that has a lot more experience in the law and this sort of case than me, no one is getting closed down from this.
We're not talking about shutting down anybody. Crytek's not shutting down, and Star Citizen's not shutting down because of this lawsuit.
The contract is only 1.8 million euros, and Crytek say that they've given CIG a favourable licence price for that, but they're going to have to show how much they charge other games for similar licences, and I think their engine is actually free now. Not to mention that Star Citizen don't use their engine anymore at all, now they use Lumberyard. The breaking of a contract shouldn't mean that they are liable for IP infringement either. As far as I'm aware, it looks as though Crytek are just covering their bases with that. And if Star Citizen is found to have broken one or more of its contractual obligations, then Crytek will need to show how they're actually financially being damaged by that before they can get any remedy, and that might be difficult. Expect with most of these kind of cases, if they don't get dismissed, that they will be settled out of court, and with a contract of 1.8 million euros, again, maybe $2 million would be like the high end of any damages in or out of court. Again, we're going to have to wait and see, and it's certainly one to watch to see exactly what happens. CIG have got until the 2nd of February if they do want to add anything more, or they do want to respond to the reiteration of Crytek's claims. I'm no expert, but Leonard French is much more of one, and he's done a big look at each stage of the case so far, and I've done some previous videos doing an overview of each of the stages, so please check them out. I will link his stuff and all of my previous videos on the matter down below. I'll also link their new updated case files so you can browse them if so inclined. Every month we have a giveaway for a ship. For January it's for a Hammerhead gunboat donated by our featured org, IDF, the Intergalactic Defence Force. They're a lawful org that focus on trade, security, escorting and teamwork, but will dabble in all areas of the game in Star Citizen's PU. Links below if you're interested in checking them out. There's also a Banu Defender giveaway until today, later on today, from Black Suns, who are a Banu and contract focused org. Again, links below if you'd like to check them out. All you need to do is to be in for a chance of winning either of those ships is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and then comment on any of my Star Citizen content during the particular month, or in the case of the Banu Defender, up until later today. Do you have any questions about the Crytek versus Star Citizen case and all that sort of jazz? Chuck them in the comments below. You're more than welcome to vent your anger at one side or another, but just be aware that it's not a pitchforky kind of time yet. It's very much sort of like watch and wait and see what happens. Contracts that are broken, they're not a moral thing, they are a remedies thing. They are, you've broken this contract, you deserve to give me this amount of money because you've broken your obligation to me in a financial sense. So that's what the contracts are there for. And there are breaches of contract which are occasionally meaningless, or there's no remedies that you could give for it or whatever. So just bear that in mind as we proceed. A special thank you to my Patreons who allow me to create the amount of content I do. You guys have been amazing over 2017, and January's been absolutely fantastic for Patreons as well. So thank you so much. It really does help me. If you would like to join them in patronage, there are the links down below as well. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I'll see you in the verse.